right, guys. I got a interesting question today from one of our students in class. How do I best convince my engineering team to adopt Scrum? What say
How
you?
best to convince them? Well, I've got some ideas, and I think it's common in the engineering space to see Scrum as some form of a micromanagement framework because, well,
Mm,
honestly, some people are using it that way.
true.
So if you can get over that hump of, hey, look, it's not a project management framework, it's not here to micromanage you either, but it actually provides some benefit. Some of the first things I would look at is how frequently engineers are building something where they don't actually get to see the look of happiness on the face of their customers, users, stakeholders, or whomever. Scrum has a mechanism built in where we can see that look on their face, where we can go to an event where all of your stakeholders are there to see your latest things, and you can gauge the reaction. Why is that cool? Because back in the day when I was a developer, I would get handed these stacks of requirements and then I would build these solutions and then they would just go off into yonder after they were released. I have no idea if the customers liked them or not until 6 months later they would come back and say this is wrong or hey, this thing is broken, or in other words, just some sort of discontent that I would get through the communication channels. And had I been there working with them, it might have been a different story. Smaller companies I've worked at, yes, that was the case where you worked hand in hand with the customer and immediately got their feedback. So you didn't go too far down the wrong path and ultimately have a customer call your baby ugly. So nobody likes their baby to be called ugly. So I would just, mention that. You got this sprint review. That's how we don't end up getting our babies called ugly.
So now I'm thinking ugly babies instead of the question. What was the question again? Oh, no, I got it. I got it. So it's how to convince engineers, right? Um, it might feel like a punting on this one, but convincing engineers is a tall order. They're usually the ones doing the convincing on the other way around. They know the answers. They are engineers. They know how to build stuff. They know how to think in terms of new technology, new inventions. I mean, they're innovators. They're supposed to be. Convincing them to work in Scrum means they're going to have to work with other people and not solo with their own ideas. Sometimes that's a tall order for some people. Maybe if convincing is what we're hoping to do, these individuals, if they're not easily convinced, we don't put too much energy to forcing it.
Mm,
Maybe there's a place to find engineers who want to work solo outside of a Scrum environment. So here's an anti-pattern answer to the question is if there's a lot of energy spent in convincing engineers, you're probably not going to get the best output from your team. Find people who want to work with the team and see if we can't lean into that. So it's a twist, but it's a thought.
yeah, I like that. I mean, that was the first thing that came to mind for me when I read this question was, should I really be twisting people's arms to use
Yeah.
the Scrum framework? Like that kind of seems opposite of the whole idea of a self-managing team. Like, here, I'm forcing you to use this, but you're free to self-manage it. Like, I don't know. So there's a lot we could read into this question. I'm going to kind of both of you here is that I agree that if people are dead set against using Scrum and see it as a micromanagement framework, twisting arms and saying use Scrum or else is probably not the right approach. But I do think there's something to be said for highlighting the benefits of the framework and sort of busting some myths about it. So if maybe people do have a bad experience. Maybe people have used it at previous companies and it wasn't applied very well, or if it was used as a micromanaging framework. So I'm going to give an answer here that I think is not that brilliant. I don't think it's that novel, but I think it is something that's overlooked quite a bit, which is give space to have the conversation. Like dig into why. Like have a change management principle that I learned a long time ago is make sure you don't skip over the first step, which is driving the need for the change. And if all you're doing is driving, and not listening, that could be a problem. So I would say give space for the conversation and let the conversation tell you why there's resistance in the first place. Maybe it's legitimate. Maybe the work they're doing is not complex work. It's simple work or it's complicated work, and Scrum is not a good fit. Or maybe those resistance ideas are more based on myth than fact, and then you have an opportunity to speak into it and say, well, no, that's actually not what we're looking to do here. So do some more listening before you do more convincing would be my suggestion. Hey, thanks for watching that video. Did you like what you heard? If so, you're going to love our Scrum classes. See, not only do we talk about these ideas on YouTube, we're also professional Scrum trainers, and we'd love to have you in one of our classes. So if you need to level up as a Scrum Master or a product owner, maybe you need to learn how to scale Scrum or combine Kanban or UX with Scrum, click the link in our description and you'll find a list of our upcoming classes.
If this is your first time to our channel and you're interested in growing in your agility and understanding things like Scrum and other agile topics, then be sure to get started by subscribing right now and hit that alert button. I don't want you to miss the thing.